Welcome to Soup for the Soul. This is KimMeWyatt, and this Soup for the Soul is called Praying for Your Soul Salvation. And before I get started, disclaimer, no portion of Soup for the Soul may be used in part or whole without the expressed written consent of KimMeWyatt. You guys, I have found myself here lately, over the years, first of all, let me back up. I rarely pray for people, and likewise, I don't like too many people praying for me. You got to be careful. It's just like the term we use is geeky about people touching your hair. You know, you don't want everyone touching your hair. It's like a no-no. For a lot of African women, it's like, no, I don't want you touching my hair, because if they have an evil aura about them or spirit, you know, we can be friends, but or I can know you rather, but I just don't want you touching my hair, you know, because that, you know, I don't know, it transfers in, you know, it's just an evil aura. You don't want people doing that. And so you will find a lot of people, I think Beyonce's sister is that way, you know, don't touch my hair. You really don't want people touching your hair. You shouldn't. And so, and it's rude, first of all, and it's a part of you, and you really, if you don't feel the vibe from that person, a sincere vibe, honesty and non-jealousy and non-envious feelings from them, then you really don't want them touching your hair, okay? But that's not what this is about. This is about how when I do pray for someone or have in the past, I prayed for whatever was going on in their life. Oh, Lord, I hope they feel better. I hope they get better. And I will continue to do that. I will. But anything other than that is obsolete. You know, it's off, because the most important thing we should be praying for is a person's soul salvation. And I have been finding myself doing that here lately, being sad about why I'm even having to do it. And people I don't even know. I pray for their soul salvation because they have no clue as to what's going on, and they're an adult, and in most cases, and really all cases, or you're pretty darn close to being an adult. For like some of the young men who watch the women here as well as the older people, but they're not kids, put it that way. And so I find myself praying for their soul salvation, and because they have no clue, it seems that they're going to hell. And you know, there's some things, Revelations, for instance. I read my mom. I remember my mom telling me about Revelations, sitting on her bed. I'll never forget. And it brings back memories, because I can see her sitting on her bed, and my mom loved the Lord, I'm telling you. And she was sitting on her bed and feet on the floor. And, I remember being at the foot of her bed. I got in my mom's bed a lot, now that I think about it. And I remember her either reading the Bible and I started inquiring, or she was saying something. She wasn't on the phone, but I started asking her about Revelations, because I guess she was reading it or whatever. For some reason, I started asking her questions about Revelations and what does that mean? And I remember I've always been inquisitive, and so I was like, well, what does that mean in the end of the world? What's going to happen? It could have been we had gone to church the day before or something. And then, so I asked questions, and I remember being at the foot of her bed, lying down, and she was explaining these horrific things to me that made me start crying. I don't think she knew that I was crying, but I was like, you know, it scared me, and it should. It should. There's nothing on this planet, on this earth right now, or you've ever gone through that you're going to that is remotely close to what we will experience in the end time. Nothing. Nothing. And the eyes have not seen and the ears have not heard, just like the Bible says. And the thing of it is, people don't take this serious. Even if some people believe in the Lord, they don't take serious about their soul salvation. They're more concerned with, and they should be, you know, can I pay my mortgage? Because you're still here on earth. You know, can I do this and can I do that? But they never pray, or we never pray for someone's soul salvation. We never we always pray for what's going on in their life right now, or lives. And I have found myself, as I was stating earlier, praying for people's soul salvation. That's the most important thing. Where are you going to spend eternity, even if you don't recognize that you're not going to be in a very cool place, and when you pray for someone's soul salvation, you're praying that, that they will wake up and smell the coffee, because in the end, it's all about what they've done and what they're doing. But you can still pray that they do wake up and smell the coffee. Pray for their soul salvation. Pray that they see that the error of their ways, is not in line with Christ. And I'm going to say this again. I don't profess to be a holy roly. I don't profess to be holier than thou, or I don't curse. Oh God, I'm going to say a cursing word, okay, probably. And I've been working on that, and I will continue to work on it. I know what my faults are, but I do know this. I do love the Lord, and we all sin. So I kept that simple. And so, blasphemy, saying things that you probably, because of the situation in my apartment, it's been escalated to a high level. Seriously. And but beyond a shadow of a doubt, I love the Lord, and I try to live my life right outside of that. As a matter of fact, I do live my life right outside of that. I don't bother anyone. I don't mess with anyone. I never have. And so and I'm not ashamed of it. I was going to say I try to live my life right, but you know what? I really do. I really do. I think I got this down. I stay to myself, basically, in my own zone. In other words, as far as bothering people and doing all that, I've never been that type of person. I've never even wanted to be that type of person. And I'm going to tell you something, because I'm very verbal, meaning I'm outspoken, people will confuse your outspokenness with you being that type of person. You're just going to vomit on someone, or you're going to beat someone up, or you're going to, you know what I'm saying, evil, type of person. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. I'm just outspoken and speak my mind. Got it from my mom. She was very outspoken, even more so than I am. I'm somewhat intellectual with my outspokenness. My mom, not saying she was ignorant, but my mom would say some things, you guys. She would say some things, and she meant every word of it, and I do too. And so that's something about myself that I'm not ashamed of. I'm proud that I'm outspoken like that. I can't fathom being any other way. I don't even like people who don't speak their mind and tell people what's on their mind. And here's one of the reasons why. Well, that's a reason in itself. But one of the reasons why, another reason is your health. Your health. More doctors are recognizing that harboring feelings and keeping them inside, first of all, makes you ill. It hurts your heart, basically, because it's something you want to say. And definitely your look. It's going to make you look older than what you are. It's called in the form of stress, because you feel like you have to keep your mouth closed about this and that, and this is how I was raised, and I'm going to go there, speaking on like white women, for instance. They basically, from what I understand, are basically raised to not speak their mind. It's not something, don't speak your mind, that their parents probably taught them. This is just how they are. In contrast to Black African women, for instance, which, we're way on the other side of the spectrum when speaking our minds. And I find that there are some white women that are like very verbal, and they're going to tell you, they're going to stay with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of them for that. Get it off of your chest. Don't let anyone get away with anything. But then there's sometimes you should just be quiet. Don't say anything. But every issue is different. But let's start praying for people's souls, you guys. Looking past ignorance and looking past their evilness, and start praying for their soul salvation. And and because we really need that. We're in the end times. This is Kimmy Wyatt. Thank you for joining in this Soup for the Soul, and I sincerely hope you listen to others. Hasta la vista. Buenos Aires. Buenas noches. Arriva Delce. Au revoir. Salida. Ciao, Bella. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. And I know I missed some. Actually, there's more. Goodbye and smooches.